All right. This is a quick straight to YouTube special again. We're going to talk Canada. We're going to talk the Canada U23 Olympic qualifiers. Quickly, we're kind of go through each game, and you'll get to hear what we think. And it's probably not going to be what you think, but that's the fun part of soccer anyway. So we're going to break that down and get Steve's coaching take on some points there. So there you go, Steve. What do you think?
Smooth start, Mark. Really smooth start. I think it's a amazing time in Canadian soccer, the Olympics and the World Cup qualifying, having a good generation of players. From what I've seen of these young guys now from the qualifying, I don't know them as well as you, Mark, but it's a good group with a lot of solid guys. So there's a lot of potential for Canada, and I think we'll just take 5-10 minutes and just churn out what we think, and hopefully people comment below like they did for the five-a-side teams, which we were pretty happy to see, and just let us know what they think and if we're right or wrong or whatever.
Yeah. So I'll just quickly. I mean, the first game was against El Salvador.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly fire off the first 11. You got Pantemis in goal, Brogiard right back, Montgomery and Cornelius center backs, Godinho at left back. Then you had Tabla and Buchanan on the wings, Baldissimo, Metcalf, and Daniels in the center midfield, and Brim up front. That's how they started. So I'm going to throw this to you right off the bat here. Um, what did you think right away? And I'm going to bring them up because this is a sore. Not a sore point for me, but it's frustrating reading Twitter about Balou Tabla. How do you think he played? And why? What did he do? What did you not like? What did you like?
It's tough, man. That guy, I think he's a good player and he's a threat. And I think people who get in positions to score are actually quite valuable, despite the fact that sometimes they frustrate the hell out of you and don't score. So I think he's had a couple golden opportunities to put games to bed for Canada, both games. I haven't read Twitter. I haven't been feeling terrific, so I haven't been up on all the rumors. So if he's getting smashed, probably because of his goal scoring, and I get that. Like Janine Becky got it in the She Believes Cup. But to be honest, I always say as a coach, I worry about my teams when they're not creating chances and they're not giving themselves opportunities to score. And of course, you want to bury, and finishing's everything. And let's be honest, finishing's probably the difference in the two games. Like Buchanan had the opportunity to score 2 goals just as easily as he did the second game as the first game. The header and the ball that bobbled to him that the goalie made that save early in the first half in the Haiti game. So I think that the guy's valuable, and I think you have to stick with him. Anybody who can create some opportunities and get in there with his pace and play off Buchanan, he's valuable, and he's probably is where he is because he can't finish, or not that he can't finish, he isn't finishing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad you said that because again, me and Steve haven't prepped for this. We haven't talked about this. We don't do anything. So I was seeing how I was feeling him out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Tabla fan. I hated that they took him off, and I hated even more that they didn't start him the next game. I mean, it showed in the Haiti game where lacking that penetration, creativity, that kind of, that's a sore point with me, this Tabla, and I really hope he gets to play against Honduras because the guy can play.
I think if you look in hindsight as well, which we have the luxury of doing at this point, the coach made his decision, and he's an Ottawa lad, and I'm pulling for him more than most, but I didn't see much, if anything, out of Theo Bair. I think a couple of times he dropped deep for a big man and made a couple of nice little flicks and stuff, but other than that, he looked very stationary. If you're going to be a target man, you need to be a target, then get into some spaces. I'm not expecting him to fly down channels. So to your point, Mark, why not go back with the other kid, show him some confidence that you haven't lost, faith in him because he's missed a chance. And maybe you got another threat other than Buchanan, because it felt very, very Buchanan-ish in the second game. Very like if it's not him, it's no one type thing, where I didn't get that sense in the first game.
No, but that's going to bring perfectly to my next point. We'll come back to Bear after. I want to talk about this Daniels kid who's starting at center, the attacking midfield kind of role. I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about him. He was at TFC, did, kind of in the two, this, that, and now he's at OKC Energy. For a guy who's starting as the number 10, both games taken off at 60 minutes, I had really high hopes to watch him and be impressed by him. I'll tell you right now, I gave him like a 3 to 4 on 10 on both games. I don't know. What'd you think?
I see flashes like him and Brim. I see flashes from both of them where I'm like, I get what they must be, and coming from someone who's not watching them enough to really say how good or bad they are. I see flashes, but that's all I've saw in those games was sort of flashes. I kind of wouldn't mind maybe seeing Brim in that role. I feel like he's got I don't know, just something I see in him. There's an ability to beat people or like a really smooth touch at times. I'd love to see him play there, maybe given a chance. So I would agree with you. I'm not ready to write him off. I felt after the first game, I really loved Metcalf after that first game. I thought he was fantastic. I was like, wow, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. And then I thought second game, he was pretty poor, like really poor almost. And I don't know if I know he plays deeper with Baldissimo, but I was thinking like, why don't you throw him a little bit farther forward, see what he can do? Like, because in the first game, the way he was shielding the ball and spinning out of trouble and stuff from El Salvador, we're putting a lot more pressure on. I was impressed. So I've kind of gone from the player you asked me to talk about. I think I'd probably drop him for the third game because I haven't seen enough, and it's a short tournament. But I don't know if I'd give him a 3 or a 4. I thought he was not so bad in the first game.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Metcalf because Metcalf, Baldissimo both played together at the Whitecaps, right? Okay. And they're both Baldissimo broke through last year. He was honestly, and I think I said to you before the first game, I'm like, you got to watch Baldissimo. He was bossing MLS games last year, which is like unheard of.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I'm very also underwhelmed by him completely. If like this,
Can I tell you my theory? Can I tell you my theory on him? Because I'm a Liverpool fan. To me, he's Thiago right now. Like, he's good. You know what he's done. He's bossed an MLS game, so you're expecting it, and it's not happening. But when you watch him, he's not crap. You know, it's the matter of his expectations of what you expect from him. And he's not doing it, because you did tell me that. I do remember watching him very briefly with the Whitecaps last year. I'm not going to profess to be one of his biggest fans or anything, but he's very in and out, very Thiago-like right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I'm his biggest fan. I love the Whitecaps. I love Baldissimo. I think he's got a huge future, but like, take the game.
Yeah, take the game. Like, be the man. Be the guy who runs the show. Like, they've got a core, a spine where they've got the keeper is amazing. Cornelius is a rock. Then you got him center mid, and you've got Buchanan up front. Like, those guys need to run the show. He has to run that show. Like, he has to be that transition player, Baldissimo.
Yeah, and I like the versatility you got with Tabla, Brim, Buchanan, like all they can all interchange and kind of that thing. And I mean, geez, the team it's good. And I want to bring up one last thing, because Godinho, he played for the national team, the men's senior national team in the Gold Cup, I think it was, and they lost to Haiti, and he had an absolute nightmare. So he was written off for a long time. He's a right back.
Yeah.
And I see him playing left back.
Yeah.
To me, he's been the best player in the tournament.
He's playing well. Who's the actual right back right now?
Broguillard.
I feel like he's good. I feel like they're not using him enough. When he gets forward, he's played a few good balls, and I just feel like they're not going down. And I always feel they have two left footers at center back. Usually, like, to ping a ball, it's easier to go left to right. So I feel like he'd get more involved, but I think because they build up slow, they tend to go down Godinho's side a lot more, and probably because Buchanan's out there as well. But at the end of that last game against Haiti, he's the one who sort of was venturing forward. And I thought, we're getting some good opportunities from this guy. Like, anyways, again, I've gone away from the guy you asked me about. I agree. I think Godinho's quality. Is he the one who hit the post in the first game when they deflected it? Like I think that was Daniels. Oh, no, that was Daniels.
Yeah.
But he's always getting in those types of spots as well, Godinho. And yeah, he's a solid player. What a great game.
Yeah, I know. I always think he's got to be like born in Brazil or something. Not
Canadian. He's Godinho.
Imagine getting thrown into a tournament like this and a right back go play on the left. Like, it may seem simple,
it's a big deal.
But that's mentally, that's hard.
Well, that's also like, I'll give you my analysis. Like, overall, when I watch it, you gotta get out of your Twitter anger and venting frustration that so-and-so didn't score. And you got to think of some pretty big things. Number one, they're playing at altitude. That's incredible. Yeah. At any stage of anything. They're playing at altitude. Number two, they're playing in Mexico in crazy heat. Just those two alone. Number three, they're doing it in a COVID pandemic where they haven't played a lot and they're already out of shape. So they're in this like crazy world. They had a great win the first game. Disappointing because I think most people thought Haiti should have been beaten, but I'll be honest, Haiti played well. They had some great chances. The keeper for Canada was insane. It might end up being a great result, even though I was disappointed and I was bored. I didn't really enjoy the game, to be fair. But if you look at all those factors, like that's a big deal. And I feel like, why can't we be like Italian fans? Like we just drew against a team in a weird circumstance in a group stage. What do we really care? Like if we get
a win and a draw,
yeah,
and people are going crazy. Like
I know.
I'm not going to name names on Twitter, but it's somebody that's in the Canadian Twitter world.
Yeah.
Just negative. This is crap. I can't believe we drew. See, we're crap. Like, come on. We have a win and a draw in an Olympic qualifying tournament.
We're always ready to just be like, we're terrible. Eh? Like, we're just so ready for that. But like, you're right there. We have a win and a draw. And should we maybe beat Haiti? Yeah, maybe we should have. Like, let's be honest. Let's analyze that game a little bit. There was like 15 minutes in the first half where it was an absolute onslaught for Canada, where I was like, holy cow. Like when Buchanan had that early chance and there was a whole bunch of them, there was like 6 corners in a row or something silly like that. If that ball goes in there, it's like any other game you watch, it's 6-0 or something, but it didn't. They hung around and that happens. And you know what? Some Canadian teams in the past would have lost that game because they wouldn't have been. I feel like this team's got a bit of, and I might bite like these words later against Honduras or something, but it's like they're CONCACAF'd, if that makes sense. Like they kind of are getting how to deal with the fouls. Like the Canadians are play acting as well in this, I'm not used to that. And they know, I think they know what they're in for. And that's probably down to Biello.
Yeah. And it's exactly like you said, it's because these guys, look at Broguillard, Cornelius, Godinho's played in. These guys have professional experience. Like they, I don't know, 5, 8, 10 years ago, we'd be 0-2 right now. Yeah. Like, can we not rally around this group? Like, sure, we're disappointed with Haiti, but like, we're going to get to the semifinal and have a one-off to go to the Olympics. Like, that's okay. Like that, relax everybody. And, we're going to criticize a few people here and there, and I'll throw you back to the criticism here is Theo Bear. I'm a Whitecaps fan. I like him. I want him to succeed. And keep in mind, everybody, they're all still very young. They have a lot of growing to do, these guys. But I think personally, Bear, he needs to find a position. I mean, he's playing for him and his body type and his skill set. I don't know why he's out wide ever.
No, I don't
like
agree.
He's out wide for the Whitecaps a lot. Like, I don't know. He's not that dribbler. No. He's not that. Why is he there? Like, I feel like his management may be part of his lack of where he is. Like the big, strong goal scorer, put him up front, or I don't know. Yeah. What do you think as a coach?
Totally agree. It reminds me of this, like a poll that not everybody's going to get, but John Carew. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yeah.
Like, he reminds me of John Carew. Like play in between the 18, like he seemed to have his biggest success almost dropping into that false 9 or into that pocket and pulling a guy and whatever, then do that. And maybe you don't have to be the old school target man, but maybe be a bit more like that, just offering that and allowing the Buchanans and the others off the edge and the wings to come in and take your space and play off you and that. Like, I think he'd be more valuable that way. He did look lost to me. Like there were times where he was walking and then there was times he was running, and then the times he was running, no one else was. And he just looked off. And I don't want to criticize him because I'm pulling for him, like I said, more than anybody. I'm an Ottawa homer and I want him to do the business. And like you said, it's like watching the World Junior Hockey. This guy could be the best NHLer in the end of the day, and he's just young, right? But he doesn't look like he knows his role, and probably positionally as well. To your point, I don't see him playing as a wide player, just personally.
And he was doing something. Brim was doing it a bit, but Bear did it quite a bit too. The fouling in their third drives me. Like he was pulling shoulders back and
just, of little tiny guys.
just let him go. Like, if there's some sort of system, like just let him go. Like it's okay to get beaten our third. Like you're just letting him off. With no chance for turnovers, nothing. Like it was killing me. And again, I love him and I want to get him on the show. And I will say this on the show, so it's nothing hidden or, but it's like, my Lord, it was killing me in that game. But anyway, so the other guy I want to bring up is, who's that other one? Well, Twardek is a guy that could have shone. Like, I think you told me this morning. Like, imagine,
I did.
Because not only is he a great winger that we need, penetrating up and down, but he's 24. Yeah. That's the kind of experience you need in a tournament. It's like, I mean, Twardek, gutted.
That is like Twardek, I'm gutted too. Like, I think this is crying out for him. Like, this was such a good chance for this guy, to look into the national team and to show he's done it at this level. And I remember talking to Ian Hume about getting not selected for some teams when he was like top goal scorer in the Indian League, and a TFC 2 or USL 3 player was getting pulled in. And it stuck with me, but it never really resonated. And it was like Ian Hume came on my shoulder, and I was like, I think he's right, Ian Hume. Like, if you bring on for the last 20 minutes a Twardek here, who's look at all the stuff he's been through. We did a show, as opposed to some of the other guys you're bringing on who are good players. Like, I love that Portuguese kid or whatever as well, by the way.
Yeah.
But just for 20 minutes at the end of that Haiti game, you throw him out on a wing, the work rate, the effort, and just the know-how and experience he has, like, it's just crying out for him. I'm so gutted for the guy, because he's such a good person, and he'll come back and all the rest of it. But just think selfishly for Canada, that's a guy who would, like, if you bring him on for Theo Bair and you throw Brim or someone else up top and you throw him out wide, wow. Like, anyways, I'm just gutted for the guy.
Yeah, no kidding. Mayor Giguère too missed out. Again, 23 years old. The two elder statements of experience, and like, I mean, Giguère's got so many games with the Fury and his CPL. Like, it's just, it's gutting for them. So anyway, I mean, I'm going to throw this to you. What the lineup I want to see for the Honduras, the all-important Honduras.
Before you do it, because I feel like you're wrapping up, I want to throw one thing at you, and you need to tell me if it's a terrible call or a very good call. There's no in between, I think.
I'm excited.
Okay. And first of all, so Tajan Buchanan, his celebration where he did the flip is exactly like Will Bourget used to do for us. It's the same thing. Anyways, that's an aside. Am I the only one who thinks that he looks exactly like Leroy Sané?
Yes,
like
he
hair
does.
And everything in his face, and their styles are similar.
That is a great call.
Yes.
It's a fantastic call.
Yes.
But even better call, I'm going to throw it back to you. Not a better call, but a question from a question or a statement. As a coach, someone does a flip. Are you thinking, please God, just don't do that and get hurt? Or are you okay with that flip? Like, all I could see is his ACL snapping. I'm like, it's just gently walk back to half.
Yeah. As his coach, I'm scared out of my mind. But if he doesn't, he's fine. Then I'm cheering, and I think it's the greatest thing ever. I'm a total hypocrite for those things. But if he gets hurt doing it, then I never let him do it again.
Oh man, that would kill me. So
here, give your line.
I'm going to say it, and I want you to pick out 2 people or 3, whoever, whatever, from this lineup who you think are key for the next game against Honduras. So we got Pantemis in net, who, like we talked about, he's MLS ready for me. This guy's a star.
Do you think he's going to be MLS ready right now?
Yeah, he played like 8 games last year in the MLS.
He's good.
Like, pretty close to that. And I just think I just feel like he's almost above this level. Like I said to you, he's like a man on the field right now.
You know what's bothering me, actually? I'm going to ruin any allegiance to One Soccer. I hate how he keeps talking about the riskiness of them playing it out of the back. Like, I get it. And then the first game, they had a couple good examples. But Pantemis is so good with his feet.
Yeah.
We've been crying out for a goalie like this. So why are we now saying it's risky? Like, let the kid play, man.
And I know exactly.
Yeah, stop being scared. Let him do his stuff. It's driving me nuts every time. Oh my God, Pantemis. I'm like, I'm not afraid, man. He's good.
Yeah, anyway, it's true. Yeah. So we got Broguillard on the right, Norman, Cornelius, Godinho, same back 4.
What happened to the guy who started, Montgomery?
He hurt it. He got hurt in the first half.
Because he came out at half. I was like, is he just shattered or what happened?
Yeah. So he may, if he's fit, I'd like him in over Norman, to be fair.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's ready.
Okay. So the same back 4.
Same back 4, same 2 in the pivot-y, Baldissimo, Metcalf, Buchanan on one wing, Balou on the other wing. And I'd like to personally see Daniels out, not out of the tournament, write him off.
Yeah.
Bring him in as a sub, maybe a
Yes,
creative
yes.
spark. But I'd like to see Raposo in the attacking midfield. I mean, imagine that. Metcalf, Baldissimo, Raposo, all white caps. They all know each other. Raposo's super tricky, clever, creative, fast.
And then
He's like
Brim.
that. And Brim up front.
I like it.
I mean, that leaves Bear out and Daniels out from last game.
I would definitely do that. The only thing I'm thinking, like, it's like risky because I don't know them, so it's maybe a dumb call. But I almost want to see Metcalf in the 10.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't know his career enough. If he's never played there, why would you do it in a big game like this? I feel like he's just creative.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like in a tournament like this, it's like there's no, Metcalf for what he does for the Whitecaps is different than what he'll do for this, So like I agree, that would be a super interesting
you know what though? You're right. You're playing Honduras. You have to have your two center mids holding. They have to know each other. They've been playing there. Leave it and I'll go with it. Go with Raposo because he's been good when he's come on, and he's a set piece taker as well.
Yeah, and think about Daniels coming in for anywhere on the wing, at the 10, anywhere. Like, from what I read too the other Daniels is apparently better out wide. Like he's more so. Like give him a chance. And Diaz, I'd like to see him come in for longer. If not, start. Why not throw him at the 10 to start?
It might not be a bad idea to throw him at the 10. Is a real tiny bit risky, but I don't know, man. He's been impressive when he's come on. You could see his talent, like he's skillful. But I guess they're doing the right thing. He's 18, and you're sort of blooding him into the team. But maybe it's time. I don't know. That's another wild card I'd love to see in there. Actually, I think I've talked myself. I think you got to leave Metcalf and Baldissimo where they are, and then you pick a 10.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you want to talk about the released roster?
Yeah,
of the national team?
Let's do that when before we log off here, because we're gonna maybe I'll throw it out there. We're gonna do a Canada show. We're pretty sure we're gonna have a special guest help us with that as far as breaking down the full men's national team. So I don't know if
he is a former national team player who's gonna help us break down those games.
Good teaser, Mark. That's why you are where you are. I was like, and then he's just coming on. He's just a guy.
Friend, my neighbor's gonna come in and be like,
he likes hockey, but he said he'd talk about soccer. Yeah.
So a former men's national team player will join us to break down our next Canada show after after. Barely he'll be able to talk, hopefully, because it's not working so much for me. So he'll be there with our next show. So I'm going to throw you, and this Canadian roster is insanely strong. Like I'm like almost giddy at the prospect of watching this team go like against the big boys, I really want us to get there. So you got Milan Borjan, Crépeau, and Dane St. Clair. The three, we've been hurting for a keeper. We got Borjan and this, but like those are three starters. Like I'm fine with, and it's going to be Borjan, Champions League experience, whatever.
I like Borjan. He's good.
But holy moly, that's three amazing keepers there.
I think Borjan can steal a game more than the other two.
Oh yeah, I agree. He's Champions League. I mean, you got to play him.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then on the left, you got Atakubi and Christian Gutierrez. And then on the right, you got Alistair Johnson, Richie Larea, who had an unbelievable season.
I love him.
The key ones here I love to see is Joel Waterman coming up from the CPL.
Yeah.
And Kamal Miller, who Herdman absolutely loves. He made a move to the Impact this offseason, so I'm super pumped to watch him. He needs games. He's always the third center back everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
The guy needs to play every week. But did you check out this Ricardo Ferreira and Frank Stirring? They're two new center backs into the full. Frank Stirring plays for like Den Bosch in Holland.
Yeah.
He's a Dutch youth international guy coming over now for us, like a center back. And Ricardo Ferreira declared for Portugal a long time ago, played for, I forget, it was Benfica, this, that. And now he's in a middle tier club, but he's back now. He's like 28 and he's like, okay, I never got into Portugal, so I'm back with Canada. So those are two highly intriguing.
Worst case, it's good depth.
Yeah, insane.
That's what I love so much. I have so much respect for how Herdman goes about getting players into the squad, and just looking and capping people and making sure, like, he's so good at it. His management it's it's quality. Anyways,
Yeah.
carry on.
Well, that's it. He's a different, like he knows his people. Like
I
Kamal
respect
Miller,
that.
he's brought into like every squad he's ever had, and he's never been, and like he just knows he can see something out. So
Mm-hmm.
the forwards and midfielders, I hate the way they have it grouped here, but anyway, David Witherspoon, St. Johnston Cup winner from
Love that.
Scotland.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that.
I really want to see him play.
Me
I
too.
want to see him play so badly that I mean,
Me
then you
too.
got Samuel Piette, who's a
Legend.
mainstay here. Mark
Yeah.
Anthony Kay, who's an absolute diamond. Liam Miller, which is neat. You'll know about him more than
Yep.
most.
Yeah, he's playing at Charlton now and he's doing well. It's good he moved to get games.
Yeah, and Stefan Eustachio, I don't know, whatever. It's
Marítimo.
he's like another, like the guy's starting every week in the Portugal top division. Like
Yeah.
how like blessed are we to have all this depth? It's insane.
Yeah, it's
And then
nuts.
Junior Hoylett, who's like, I mean, played
Been
the Premier
around.
League championship. He's all
Yep.
over the place.
Yep.
Got Atiba back, which is unreal.
Like as good as he is, he's still underrated.
Oh, big time. And you got Kyle Larin, who's got like
Yeah.
16 goals
Yeah.
this year in the Turkish top
Yeah.
league.
That guy's just burying goals, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts. And then Cavallini, who's your beast presence up front. I mean, and then the new one, Theo Corbanu.
Yeah.
He's in the squad, which will be super interesting to watch because I mean, none of us have ever really seen him other than highlights.
No.
And yeah, that's it. I mean, Alphonso Davies.
And Alphonso Davies.
And him. I think he got sent off on purpose to make sure he can come.
I agree. He's a good Canadian boy. So who are the ones missing out? Jonathan David couldn't get his release. Scott Arfield, they guess can't get a release. And who else?
Yeah, and Osorio got hurt.
Sorry.
Oh, and the replacement for Osorio, Jaden Nelson, 18 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Tricky winger. Like, I hope he plays a ton for TFC this year. I want to see this guy getting into the CPL. Like, I'm so sick of seeing these like quality prospects just.
But it's like, honestly, this is like the Ian Hume praise show. Like, there's got to be a point where you stop playing reserve team and go play. And what's wrong with like, that's what I like about Herdman as well here. Like, so-and-so at ADO Den Bosch, but he's playing and he's in the squad. Like, he's not saying, oh, he's playing in the Dutch first tier or a lower Dutch team. He's playing against good players week in and week out. And more credit to him for that.
Yeah. And I mean, look at Jaden Nelson. Look at Liam Miller. Is the perfect. Yeah. It's like same position, same type player, same everything. He goes, plays, and now he's flying. And I really hope Nelson does the same this year. Like I'm really hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. And that's one of the strongest teams on paper. And I want to say that on paper, because we've interviewed some former Canada players who are like, don't call this anything a golden generation until they achieve something. And that's resonating and that's sticking with me forever. But it's a great crop.
I agree. I think that it's being built the right way. I think the signs are pointing in the right direction. Doesn't mean we're going to make this World Cup. Hopefully it continues to grow for the next one. And hopefully we do make this one. But what Herdman's doing, I'm fully behind. I support it. And I hope they just do the business. So let's talk about it on Friday or whenever we're doing our show.
Yeah, let's hope we talk about 2 wins. Like we need this win against Honduras, and that's pretty exciting. So yeah, see you guys in a couple days with our special guest.